Coming out of this show, I had two questions on my mind. One, what the hell is Booker T on about? I can't understand a goddamn thing he says on commentary anymore. I don't think anybody can. I think subtitles on top of subtitles, on top of captions, on top of closed caption crews working around the goddamn clock couldn't figure out what Booker T is saying on commentary. But the second question I have is, who's excited for next week's show? It's called New Year's Evil! Oh boy, that's gonna definitely cause a lot of ears to bleed. But anyway, before we get to that, we gotta talk about this. I'm John Renton with my review WWE NXT, and yep, the first NXT show of 2023, and it's more of the same. That being said, New Year's Evil, I'm not going to try to do that singing thing again, as I am tired and I've already shot my voice completely. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens next week, possibly, maybe. They've crammed a lot of matches on that show, and they crammed a lot of shit on this show. Some that was good, and yeah, some that was just typical NXT, because NXT is in a goddamn pit, and it's never getting out of it. There are times where it might crawl up the wall a little bit and be like, I'm still alive! And then it gets knocked right back down with bullshit. Can we get Booker T off of commentary, please? Please. I don't care who else you put there. Well, to an extent I care. Just get somebody coherent. Get somebody halfway coherent. Anyway, speaking of things that were more than halfway coherent, Carmelo Hayes with Tricky Williams taking on Apollo Crews. Athletic, flippy shit mixed with some good wrestling. Some great wrestling. In fact, look, both these guys can work. I don't know what Carmelo is still doing in NXT. I would hope that after WrestleMania 39, he gets called up, him and Trick. Because unless you're going to give them a tag title run or something, I don't really get why he is still there. Tricky does interfere, and then we get a little bit of back and forth, but Apollo gets caught trying to do the standing moonsault. That doesn't work, and then gets hit with the leg drop off the top 1, 2, 3. I've said it before. I've said it for about the last year. I'm going to say it again. I hope that Carmelo Hayes gets a different finisher at some point, because I'm really worried about what's going to happen to his back and hip. It's his body, and he can do whatever he wants. I just want the man to have a good quality of life after his wrestling career eventually winds down. Axiom Verge then attacks both and wants Tricky Williams in the worst way, but also for the next match, because conveniently, that is the next match. We blend right into Axiom Verge versus Tricky Williams. Seriously, what is Booker saying is what I wrote down. Axiom Verge wins. Then we get a beatdown. Then Apollo comes out. So basically, this entire show has revolved around 3 certain people, actually 4 people, if you count Axiom Verge. Axiom is a stupid name. Really good talent, stupid name. At least we didn't have to see a stupid entrance. I will say this, though. During the match, Vic said, one thing you can't teach, length and size. You either have it or you don't. Length and size are 2 things, Vic. 2 things. 2. The plural 1. So anyway, New Day is with, well, they are talking to Pretty Deadly Glory, who are still trying to get them gifts to earn a tag title shot. Go on a scavenger hunt. That we have not had to see because, honestly, less Pretty Deadly Glory on my television is always a good thing. Speaking of things I would rather have not on my television, if that was grammatically correct, well, it wasn't. The Schism. I like them all as talents, but this is a stupid stable. And then Dijak apparently took video of him interrogating and beating the shit out of Stacks and uses a cassette recorder. Can you still get cassettes to use in a recorder like that? I know he looks like a bodyguard. If you'll be my bodyguard, I'll be your long-lost pal. And whatever the hell. I will call you Dijak, but not T-Bar because you call... Well, okay, no, that doesn't really work. Okay, enough of that. He was interrogating him and using a cassette tape. I know he looks like an 80s bodyguard or henchman in, one of those cop drama action movie things, whatever. Just take your pick of whatever genre. But what the shit? A cassette tape. I don't know why that still blows my mind. I mean, I remember using that shit because I'm older than goddamn dirt, but nevertheless. He says, hey, tell Tony to stay out of my way or something. Why was he beating him up and why was he filming it? Who was filming this? Who was holding the camera? Gulak was in training with the Chase University students. Dookie Nukie took exception to something. Thea Hale is yelling more like Scrappy-Doo, and Andre Chase swears a lot. So really nothing has changed with Chase University in about a year and a half of this thing being on television. Dijak and Stacks took on each other in a match. More like DiStacks. Now that everybody shut off the review and discussed because of that pun and not because of the terrible song references, man, this was certainly... I said, and I thought the T-Bar gimmick was bad. It's not that Dijak isn't a good worker. He's a very good worker. I just don't know what the fuck this gimmick is. He hits the yeast your thighs. I think that's the name of the finisher. I don't know. He wins, and then Tony D'Angelo runs him off and challenges him for a match next week. Okay. Mackenzie is with Oro in the Blind Forest, and then here's Javier Bernal with the Christmas album. I will admit that I did laugh at Feliz Navidad. That was funny. It was stupid, but it was fun. I like stupid jokes, and that was goddamn stupid and funny. Especially funny. They're going to have a match next. And then the two remaining thirds of Toxic Attraction, Gigi Dolan and JC Jane. Oh my goodness, JC Jane. You want to talk about a perfect woman? Right there. Right there. Look at JC Jane. She's just great. Just great. I really enjoy watching her on television because she makes the most of any television appearance she has. She has the passion. She's actually got the promos down pretty well as far as delivery. And she looks great. She looks fucking incredible. Gigi looks great, and unfortunately promos are not her thing. And I met her multiple times at indie shows. It's just promo... No, this wasn't great. It was fine when JC talked. Gigi was okay. And they are going to take down Roxanne. This is where the show just came to a screeching goddamn halt. This was a bigger wreck than in the French Tunnel when Princess Diana was evading the goddamn paparazzi. A bigger wreck than Kerry Von Erich had on June 4th, 1986. Bigger wreck than Adrian Adonis was involved in. I will find something that will discuss people because why not? I don't care. So they're going to target Roxanne. Now keep in mind, JC and Gigi are talking. They're going to target Roxanne, who's the current NXT Women's Champion. And then Indy Hartwell shows up and says she's going to finish both of them off at the same time. Would watch. And then Cora shows up. We need more promos, goddammit. Here's Nikita Lyons. We do not need more promos. Stop this. Stop it, Shawn Michaels. Get some help. I think it's Lazy Eye booked this goddamn thing. And then Grandma Stark shows up. You know, she actually remembers when wrestling shows didn't have integration. In fact, she remembers when the Civil War was fought. So she must be really goddamn confused by seeing so many people around here. No, I don't know what I'm on about anymore. But she's there. And Wendy starts talking, and that's where the goddamn thing came to a screeching halt, because you have an alleged wrestler in footy pajamas talking. Wendy actually is a wrestler as far as a talent, but just the presentation is stupid. And then Thea is yelling. And then suddenly everybody gets in the ring, and then Lash Legend and a whole bunch of other people just get in the ring and start brawling, and we get officials, and we'll see you this weekend at the Royal Rumble. And then Isla fists Alba from behind. I wish she would. Anyway, moving on from that. They battle to the back. They just fight off. And then Roxanne shows up on the crow's nest thing, landing, whatever the fuck that deal is up there. The landing gear deal, whatever it is. And she talked, please stop. Just say, Roxanne, go out and say something. Give her a couple bullet points. She sounds like she's being held hostage every time she talks. And I like Roxanne. She's very talented. She clearly has a great mind for this and has the ability and will only get better. But god damn it, her lack of promos are going to stunt her growth. Get her a manager. It's going to be a 20-woman battle royal next week, and the winner faces Roxanne at Vengeance Day. You know, that takeover event, or that big NXT event that's going to be taking place on February 4th in the Spectrum Center in Charlotte. The Spectrum Center that holds roughly 15,000 to 16,000 people. Guess what NXT is not going to draw? 15,000 to 16,000 people. They will be lucky to draw 5,000 to 6,000 people there. Okay, so we go back to the parking lot, and Alba and Isla are just beating shit out of each other. You know, two Scottish gingers trying to pipe at each other and trying to fist and pound each other. I usually have to go to a different kind of website to see this. Always delete your search history and do not ask me anything more. But if you closed your eyes during this whole thing, it took on a whole different meaning. Much like the movies that I saw online once by mistake. Mistake, that is. Mistake. Always a mistake. Not the giant colored NXT logo that was the Color Splash, Paper Mario Color Splash thing. And then Isla falls onto a pile of chairs in a very stagey way. And then they're supposed to have a match, by the way. So they've done all this shit. Isla fell in a very stagey way, and then St. Elbows Fire got her in a wheelbarrow, and put her there, and put her out to the ring. They said Alicia Taylor's in the danger zone, and you better call Kenny Loggins because you're in the danger zone. Isla Dawn and St. Elbows Fire in an extreme resolution match. So they battled backstage for 10 goddamn minutes, and then the match starts. This is a recurring thing and a problem in New Japan, in AEW, in WWE. It's more egregious in WWE and AEW. Maybe it's egregious in Impact also. I don't watch Impact. Not a lot of people do, quite frankly. If you're going to push Bully Ray and Tommy Dreamer in a storyline in 2022, 2023, you have issues. But the whole point is this whole thing of fighting backstage. For a blood feud, it would make sense. And for two women, a blood feud would make sense, but only at certain times of the month. Oh, all the women that are watching this show are going to be pissed. Not understanding that they're jokes. They're just jokes. I mean, please, seriously, don't attack me. I'm just having fun because I'm really tired. So they just beat the shit out of each other with stuff. We get a, at one point during a break, we have a wrench spot being used, throwing a wrench into the plans. A toolbox. St. Elbows Fire does that senton thing, but the table doesn't break. I am the table. Then puts Isla face first through it. And then Alba wins. Okay. Not sure what the point of this was. Are we going to give St. Elbows Fire another shot? Or are her and Isla going to fight and eliminate each other and we're going to have another blow-off match at Vengeance Day? Probably that. Mackenzie is with Grayson Waller. Great. Grayson Waller gets the main event spot again because apparently we hate ratings. Indus and Creeds have a package, and Julius is going to fist the respect out of Indus. Stop thinking about it, Noah. I know you're thinking of it. You stop it. You get some help. And then Oro and the Blind Forest took on Javier Bernal. Stop thinking about it. Noah's awesome. He appreciates this. I hope. But anyway, Javier Bernal isn't bad. I'm not exactly sure why they're making him a comedy goof. Oro and the Blind Forest won with a spin kick. I know what his name is, but Oro and the Blind Forest is funnier. Fallon Henley, Jesus, good God. She was involved in that fracas and that brawl and everything. And Kiana James comes to congratulate her and tells Brooks to call her. No, I'm not going to say it. Let's just say Kiana James, good grief, good goddamn grief. She looks like she could lift the world. She could lift me and throw me for all I care. I have issues. So, NXT Anonymous is apparently taking video of various women without their knowledge. Oh, I see. It's okay when they do it, but nope, don't do that. Don't take footage of people without their consent. What the hell is wrong with you? Anonymous, unclear, and possibly fictitious people that I'm referring to. NXT Anonymous. So we had scripts that is just Reggie in weird clothing and a weird mask, and now we have NXT Anonymous. Sean, do you have any idea what you're goddamn doing? Brett was right about Sean. Drew Gulak with Hank Walker took on Andre Chase with Dookie Nukie Hudson and Thea Hale, and this match certainly existed. Gulak won and was very vicious with his Dragon Sleeper finisher. Wesley then is focused on one thing, that's North American Championship. Also, Hank Walker is going to face off against Charlie Dempsey next week. I guess. Apparently. Why not? Of course, that took place after Joe Wayne Gacy lost to Kofi Kingston because I didn't care about the match. I didn't care. It's nothing against the people involved. I don't care. Anyway, Pretty Deadly Glory, they're pissed. They don't want to go on the scavenger hunt. They say, we'll face 3 of the best tag teams. We will have a train run on us to gain a title shot. I think that's what they said. You can stop thinking about that also, Noah. Tiffany Stratton is showing up next week, or somebody. I'm not sure. Did they give her a new voice? I'm not exactly sure. Judging by the pictures, they had... Okay, I'm just going to say it. Stop. Wrestling companies need to stop encouraging women to get, plastic surgery and certain enhancements. If the women want to do it, great. They can do what they want with their bodies. The company is encouraging it just because they don't think they look TV ready. You hired them for a reason. Stop making them change who they are. So anyway, the Grayson Waller effect. It ends with Steiner out-promoing Grayson and Heyman with a slam and then Heyman with a dive while on Instagram Live. That's it. I don't really have much to say because I don't hate Grayson Waller. He's insufferably good in the ring, but I'm sick of him. And I think that match is going to be pretty goddamn short. In fact, that of all the matches they have announced for this goddamn show, I would not be too surprised if that match is maybe 8 minutes. And Braun just squashes him. We'll see, though. Anyway, yeah, NXT is off to a snoring start so far. Agree, disagree, what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.